What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to Week 16. The Buffalo Bills travel to Soldier Field in what's going to be a cold, frigid game. Wind chill around minus 25. I have it on the weather slide when we get there. Oh my goodness. This is. I was looking at that weather report and I'm like, I don't know how they can do this. I really don't. And then we had the blizzard in Buffalo that hit last night. And oh my God, you guys have been sending me pictures. If the Bills had to have played a game this week, I don't think it would have happened based on that blizzard that rolled in. It looked like it was worse than that other snowstorm you guys got back in the Thanksgiving. Was it the Thanksgiving?
Yeah, not as much snow, but the
yeah.
wind has been insane. Like we're talking up to 60, I think 70 mile per hour winds, Mike. So I just took a look. So on my screen, it says 3 degrees, it says snowing right now. So it says 4 degrees on my phone. It says feels like minus 21 because of the wind chill.
Yeah. I just can't imagine playing in the weather, but they're going to be playing in that weather.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get into it. Want to say happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I know, Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, thank you so much for supporting us, being out on this channel. We just had an amazing special show right before this, and please check it out if you haven't. It basically was raising funds for Baby Jack. You all know, if you've been watching our channel, we've been raising funds for them the past month, and we hit our goal. And there's nothing to say we can't exceed our goal, which we did. We've exceeded it by a little bit. I'd like to see us get a little more if we can. We're going to run this event through the new year. And man, we got to see Baby Jack's mom. We got to see Baby Jack, got an update, got some good updates on him. So just an amazing show. So check it out. Jake and I are going to breeze through this a little quicker than norm. It is late on Friday night, and we do have some friends and family get-togethers that we need to, at least I need to get to. So we'll get through this. Jake, you ready to go? Ready
Let's
to roll?
do it, Mike. Let's hit it, baby.
I do want to say real quick, Big Al, thank you for this. Got to say you guys are amazing. Very charitable at Christmas time for Baby Jack. Yeah, this channel's always been about giving back, whether it's the giveaways or this being a special thing where we're helping out a family in need. So thank you, Big Al and Mama Podger, so much. I know you guys made some big donations on that show. Can't appreciate you enough. And then, Mike, you can't talk about the cold, is what Tom's saying. Hey, I can talk about the cold. I lived it, but nowadays I can't even take below 60 degrees, guys. I'm sorry. When you get older and your body adapts to Southern California, I'm sorry, man.
Tom, how we doing out there? Give us an update. I just looked out the window. We still got whiteout conditions here, but I know you're out in the north towns. I know the north towns were actually supposed to get hit worse this time around. Usually it's the south towns that get it worse, but how you doing out there, Tom?
Yeah. And if you would like to donate to Baby Jack and his family, the link is in the description of this video. All right, let's get into it. On the injury report, Boogie Basham hurt his calf. He did not practice all week. He is out. And then we have Mitch Morse, which I kind of expected, working through that concussion, out. Did you hear any additional news? Because one of the concerns is this is Mitch's, I think, 6th concussion.
Yeah.
He's talked about retiring before because of concussions. Was there any news locally? Did he speak at all? Any updates on, what the thought was there and when we might see him back?
No, I didn't hear anything about that. I know they're really proceeding with more precaution just because this is number 6, which is insane. And as a center, you're very at risk already. You got to kind of whip your head back the second you snap the ball. You got people bull rushing you. So yeah, obviously it's really concerning. And I know his wife had posted a message just thanking everyone for, reaching out to them, sending well wishes and prayers and whatnot, but have not heard anything from Mitch. I doubt he's going to play either this week or the following week, in my opinion. If anything, we might see him come playoffs. That's if they clear him, so yeah. I don't know. I just, right now, when you're at number 6, it's like, it really, life kind of takes on a new meaning at that point. You got to start thinking, hey, you got kids, you got a family, this, that, and other. And hey, it's wild because he just got voted to his first Pro Bowl too. And pretty cool to see him actually recognized as one of the best centers in the league, which he is, and to be one of 2 in the AFC, that's a hell of an honor. But yeah, really hoping he's okay. And, I'm totally fine with them just shutting him down for the rest of the year if we have to. And who knows if he's going to even play anymore.
Safety first. It reminds me of Steve Young. Steve Young had, I don't know how many he had in total, but he had a lot. And at one point, I mean, it seemed like the softness of hits was knocking him out. So it was getting, for every concussion he got, it was much easier to get another concussion, is what it seemed like. And yeah, best to Mitch. We'll see what happens. He is a huge loss on that offensive line. Van Roten, I believe, is going to have to. No, Bates will probably play center this week.
And he was injured too, so there's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
concern there. We don't really know. It looked like he had full participation in practice, so
Yeah,
that
both
was
Wednesday and
definitely
Thursday. Yeah,
yeah,
usually when you see the game status over here, if they have the dash, they're playing.
right.
There's no question there. Now, again, best wishes to Morse, Mitch Morse. And then Jordan Phillips and both Ed Oliver are questionable. Jordan Phillips was limited in practice all week with his shoulder. Ed Oliver has a calf. He was limited on Wednesday and did not practice Thursday. These are two big losses if we don't have them against a guy like Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be trying to run the ball all over us, and having those big interior guys. Without those two, you're talking Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, and now you don't even have Boogie. Boogie usually slides in there in the middle as well. So that's going to be interesting. Jake, who else do we have at depth if we're missing these other two guys?
Yeah, I mean, really, you got to start going down the roster a little bit. I mean, shoot, we might have to bring some guys up. It's a tough list there to crack, but when it comes down to it, I mean, you're looking at the roster. I'm going to pull it up right now just to see, because I don't know if they actually activated anyone off the practice squad. So I am curious just to see. I think they technically, I mean, Kingsley Jonathan's at the end. I don't know if they actually activated anyone else, Mike, which tells me one thing, maybe that they do feel that, at least for the defensive tackle position, that Eddie Oliver should be able to go. So that's definitely a good sign. But yeah, I mean, really right now on the active roster at the very moment, and this is what I thought, we only have Tim Settle, Jordan Phillips, Ed Oliver, and Daquan Jones. So, and like you said, I mean, Boogie Basham would rotate in every once in a while. But yeah, I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Just looking at the practice squad, I mean, we have a guy, Cortez Broughton, who's on the practice squad right now. Brandon Bryant, that would be an obvious, add to the active roster. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's really what we're looking at. So kind of lacking a little bit of depth there, unfortunately, which is something we haven't talked about all year long, is the lack of depth. If anything, it's a luxury for us, so now it's interesting to see.
Yeah, we got Go Bills podcast out there. Good to see you, Brett. Always good to see you. If you haven't checked out Brett's channel, go check him out. Go Bills podcast. Young, up and coming star. Good stuff over there. And Tom says, isn't Basham on IR? I did not hear that. I didn't see that. I think he wouldn't even be on the injury report if they put him on IR.
Yeah, I don't think it's been official yet, Tom.
Yeah,
but they were talking. I think they were mulling it over whether they wanted to put him on IR, but then he has to miss 4 weeks.
Yeah. Beasley is activated, and let's see. Go Bills podcast says Bills brought up Johnson and Beasley.
Okay, interesting. All right, that's good to know.
All right, let's move on to the injury. The other side with the Bears. Let's see on their side. Chase Claypool, doubtful, which is a wide receiver for them. Taven Jenkins, guard, doubtful. They have, God, I can't even see this gentleman's name. I'm just going to say his last name, St. Brown.
That's Equanimous St. Brown. They just call him EQ for short, Mike.
Okay, EQ. He is out. You'll have to tell me, Jake. Trevin Wesco, tight end, is out.
Yeah.
And Cody Whitehair, their guard, is
He's
doubtful.
Good.
Normally,
really good.
I take time, and since we're in a rush, I didn't have a chance. Of these guys, how many are starters?
Chase Claypool is. Cody Whitehair, very good guard in this league. He's a starter. I think Equanimous is technically a starter as well. Taven Jenkins as well. So I mean, you're talking 4 starters that are out right now. So that's big. Yeah, it really is.
That's huge, because to me, it's going to be obviously all about stopping Justin Fields. And if he, I'm saying just commit to the run, just single up everybody. We'll get to that in our key matchups, but not having a weapon like Claypool out there is huge. And again,
he's a big target.
My God, with the weather conditions, we got a lot to talk about there. So let's move on here from the injury report. Weather report: intermittent clouds, kickoff around 10 degrees, wind chill minus 17. So I was a little bit off. I thought it was around the 20, but who knows with the weather. Winds west at 24 miles an hour with wind gusts up to 32, Mr. Podger. Woo, boy.
So that's about half of what we got right now. So
Oh
kind of
man.
glad. It's crazy to say, glad the game's in Chicago this week because it's, I guess, a little bit better conditions wise. Because right now it's about, I think, upwards of 60 miles per hour here. So,
Oh
yeah.
man.
And
That was
imagine
a
that Bill Stadium. That's already windy as it is. So it's just a wind tunnel in general.
last year against that in that Patriot game. I think the winds were around 60 mile an hour gusts, right?
Crazy.
So 32 mile an hour. Oh, Jake, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this type of cold. I'm I'm telling you, this is like if we were to take a poll of the whole team, I wonder how many people are like, yeah, I'm good with it. Let's go. But tell me, I mean, playing in the cold, everything hurts more, right? And I don't know, man.
This is different too. This is like bitter cold. We're talking,
Yeah,
it's not just like 10 degrees and maybe there's no wind. When wind is involved, it makes it so much worse because the real feel, they say it's 10 degrees out, but the real feel of that is in the negatives when you have wind involved. And there's a cold front going across Brett's even right now, 33 in Florida. What is that all about, Brett? I mean, that's why you moved down to Florida to get away from this stuff. So it's across the whole, East Coast. I think they got a big cold front that's coming through. So, yeah, it's wild to say that we're happy the game's in Chicago when we have 10-degree weather and 32-mile-per-hour winds, because right now, as I mentioned, it's 3 degrees and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So it does tell me something, bringing up Duke Johnson and Cole Beasley. I mean, obviously adding another running back to the roster, super important, and then obviously adding the safe blanket and Cole Beasley for those shorter passes. I think that's going to be huge tomorrow.
yeah, we hit about 75 today, Jake. But I gotta tell you,
Jeez.
it was cold last couple of weeks. We're getting down into the 60s. I was freezing
Wow.
my butt up. I had to go out and heat up the car before I got in, and
Oh
we had
my
some
goodness.
frost on the window. I know. I'm spoiled. I know you're like, didn't you grow up in Buffalo? Yes, I did. But when you get older and you've been out of that weather for quite some time, your body adapts, man.
Your blood thins out a little bit too,
For sure, for sure. All right, let's get real quick on the offensive side of the ball. Look, the Buffalo Bills, they averaged 27.5 points per game. That is fourth in the NFL. The Bears averaged 20.7 points per game. That is 19th. I want to show you, I'm going to go down to an interesting number. Passing yards per game by the Bears, 137.1 passing yards average per game. That's insane in today's NFL game. Absolutely insane. I mean, I just feel like, Jake, you could be out on the field throwing for more than 137 yards, but it does matter who's around you. But if you look at the next number for them, they average 186.8 rushing yards per game, which is number one in the league. And we've definitely struggled, but I think, again, I'm going to wait. I got so much to talk about this. But over on the Bills side, look, we averaged 265 yards, passing yards per game, ranked fifth, 134. I'm going to round it to 135 yards, rushing yards per game. That's eighth. I keep looking over that number. I had to double check it, triple check it. I'm like, are they really only throwing average 137 yards per game passing? Unbelievable.
It's wild. And fun fact about the Bears, just talking about their passing game, the history of the passing game in Chicago has never been great. Their all-time leading passer is Jay Cutler, if that tells you anything. And Jay was good. He was good while he was there. Obviously, they went to an NFC championship and, yada, yada, yada. You got guys in the past. You're talking back in the day, they had, what's his name at quarterback? Why am I drawing a blank on this?
Jim McMahon?
Jim McMahon, thank you. Yeah, he's also another great name. But they have never had a 4,000-yard passer in franchise history, Mike. They are the only franchise to never have a quarterback record 4,000 passing yards in a season. Pretty wild. But go ahead with your point. I just wanted to point that out because it's crazy to see. And now you're looking again, it's like almost regressing, if anything. But the run game's so damn good. And Justin Fields, he's a hell of a player.
I feel like these are numbers you would see in the 60s and the 70s, 137 passing yards per game.
Right.
Not where we are right now. That's just crazy to me. Look at the sacks they've been giving up. 48 sacks allowed. Oh, my goodness. On the other side, Buffalo's giving up 30, and we know that number's always looking good because of Josh Allen. That number, if we didn't have Josh Allen and we had someone else back there, I'm going to say we have at least another 8 sacks, maybe even 40 sacks on our side, but we got 30. We've given up 48 sacks, Jake. They've given up a ton. On paper right now, you're looking at this, you're like, man, there's no way they have a chance. But they will have a chance because of that dang weather. Again, Jake, we always talk about this. I do feel the weather neutralizes us a little bit, especially with these weather conditions that we just saw. I mean, we have a fantastic passing game, but 32 mile an hour gust, cold hands, going to be difficult to catch those passes. So let's move on here. Defense.
And the crazy part is too, Mike, I just want to elaborate on that a little bit. The crazy part is a lot of people think, throwing the football in this weather is more difficult, but Josh Allen doesn't seem to struggle throwing the ball. It's a matter of actually catching his passes. He can still throw it on a rope. And I mean, you saw what he did even in the New England game last year in those 60-mile-per-hour winds. He was cutting through the wind like it was not an issue at all. So it's a matter of just the receivers, obviously being able to make a play. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
So on the defensive side, the Buffalo Bills, they give up on average, I'm going to round it to 18 points per game, but I know, Jake, you like to be specific. So it's 17.9 points per game. Got to have that 10th of a point in there.
That's right.
That's ranked number 2 in the NFL. Number 2, baby. On the other side, the Bears give up 25.6 points per game. That's near the bottom. They're ranked 30th. Lots of opportunity there. I want to show you where the biggest opportunity is. And in this weather, we're going to need it. The Bears give up 143.9 rushing yards per game. That's ranked 27th. And in this weather, I fully expect our run game to be in play. Big time. It better be. It's going to have to be. And that'll include Josh, of course, but Singletary, Cook, Hines, and maybe your boy Gilliam will get some action there as well. Over on the Bills side, of course, we give up 106.1 rushing yards per game, which is ranked 6th, and they're going to be tested. They are going to be tested a lot this game. But, it seems simple. It seems like a simple philosophy. I feel like looking at these numbers, and by the way, the Bills defense, 37 sacks on the season. That's 11th in the league. The Chicago's defense, 17 sacks, 32nd in the league. Dead last, Jake.
Yeah.
So they don't put much pressure. I mean, this just all, on paper, looks like this should be a blowout. But with this weather, and again, you don't want to overlook this team. Do not. They've been playing very, very competitive at home. I was listening to one of the other Bills podcasts, and I don't know if it's the last 6 games or what, but they've had a lot of one-score games. If you just look back last week, they took Philadelphia to the brink. So this team is getting better. The more they let Fields let him loose, he's taking things into his own hands. This man's 6'3", 220 pounds, 230, somewhere around there, and he runs a 4.4, Jake.
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
It's crazy. He's a gamer. He really is. He's got over 1,000 rushing yards this year. He's only the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to record a 1,000-yard rushing season, beside Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. It's absolutely incredible. And he's really picked up steam as the season's gone on.
Yeah. I mean, you look at these numbers both on the offense and defense, Jake, you're like, how could we lose that? But I'll bet you, if you look back last year when we went to Jacksonville, who, by the way, I mean, they have a team this year, but we can look back last year and we lost that game. You would have never thought there was no way we were going to lose that. And again, don't overlook this team. They've been playing very, very well. And Justin Fields, once they get some talent around him, Jake, oh my goodness, they definitely found their franchise quarterback. Let's move on here to key matchups. Let's get into it. I've got a lot to talk about here.
Ooh,
but
baby.
Jake, give us your key matchups here. In that weather, it's going to be interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, I think Brett hit it spot on. I mean, it's basically the method to, I guess, stopping that offense is containing Justin Fields, David Montgomery, and Khalil Herbert, who's back this week. They have the best running game in the NFL, and it's obviously for a great reason. I will say, though, having the interior of their offensive line hurt, it helps us a little bit, but we're banged up interior-wise, so it's kind of like a wash, And actually, Brett corrected himself. He said Kingsley Jonathan, not Duke Johnson. So Kingsley Jonathan is a defensive end. He's a bigger defensive end. Kind of reminds me of Shaq Lawson a little bit. He's like 6'4", 260, kid out of Syracuse. I like him a lot. I think he's an up-and-comer. He's played pretty well, especially in the run game. So that'll be a nice addition for tomorrow's game. I think he'll be a really nice add for that. But talking about my key matchup, I think it really is, play and contain. So I'm really excited to watch, Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa get after it tomorrow. I think for them, it's going to be a really good test. Obviously, Shaq Lawson, I think he's going to play a big part as well. That's going to be a great test for them just to make sure. And I will say this, I think Greg Rousseau is developing into one of the better defensive ends in terms of playing, obviously playing contain and stopping the run. So he gives you both sides of that. He can rush the passer when he has to, but he does a really good job of playing contain and defending against the run. So he's going to have a big day tomorrow. So I think that is absolutely, it's got to be mentioned as one of my key matchups. Then on the other side of the ball, their secondary is really good. So I think for the Bears, you look at some of the players they have. Jaquan Brisker is one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. Came out of Penn State, second-round pick. He's really good. Jalen Johnson is one of the up-and-coming elite corners of this league. He's had a really good year. And then on the other side, you got Kyler Gordon, who's a rookie. So I like the matchup there, and I know we're probably not going to be throwing the ball a ton tomorrow, but just being able to, take advantage of those shorter routes, getting those guys involved early, feed Steph Diggs. I don't care who you put up against him. That guy's going to make a play. He's the only guy really that is kind of shown that he can make a play with multiple guys defending him. So I think you got to feed him on those shorter plays, those slant routes. He's a tough, gritty, chippy guy. I think this is the perfect type of game to get him involved in. I know you think, hey, let's run the football, 32 mile per hour wins. I like getting that short game developed a little bit. We saw the emergence of Dawson Knox, but I like those outside receivers to have a nice day tomorrow. And speaking of Dawson Knox, I mean, linebacker-wise, they're not quite as good as they used to be. Trading away Roquan Smith, kind of a slap in the face. He goes to the Ravens. First time, I mean, he's a Pro Bowler this year. I think he's the starter on the NFC or AFC Pro Bowl team. So they are definitely struggling across the middle as well. So you think of guys like Dawson Knox and Cole Beasley as well to have a big day. But I like our receivers against their corners, even though they do have one of the better secondaries in the NFL.
That's surprising. I did not know that. I want to talk to you. Tell me a little bit more about Fields. Obviously, I've seen the stats. I've not been able to watch a lot of film on Fields. Do they run a lot of RPO, or is it just he drops back, he looks one time, and he takes off? What have you been seeing? Tell us.
Yeah.
What
it's a lot of RPO.
Fields.
It is. That's like, and it's honestly a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. So I hope Leslie Frazier has something drawn up. I think the zone coverage tomorrow is going to be huge. Only rushing 4, playing contain, not doing anything crazy, not letting a broken play happen, because especially with the weather conditions that are going to be presented to us, it's going to be one of those things where, something can happen. A blown coverage can happen a little bit easier because you don't have the same footing, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And this could be one of those games where it's almost a trap game because you overlook a team like this and they can make plays. Justin Fields is a very dangerous player.
Yeah.
I mean, as I mentioned, he's 7th in the league in rushing yards. He has over 1,000 rushing yards as a quarterback, for Christ's sake. I mean, the guy is a playmaker. He's a gamer. He wants to win. I don't think he cares about his passing numbers. He just wants to make plays, go out there and do what he can to help his team win, which is, really for the Bears, I think they have a nice, bright future with him. You get him some real weapons out there. Cole Kmet's sort of coming along a little bit. But you get them some really good outside receivers. I know they got Chase Claypool and whatnot. Might not play tomorrow, which would be huge. But you give him some more of that, man. He's gonna be really good because he is electric already as it is.
What college did Fields go to, and what do you think? I mean, did he go to a college where he's faced this type of weather?
Oh yeah, so he played at Ohio State, so he's used to the cold. Yeah, and he's played on the big stage. He was at Georgia before that, and he transferred to Ohio State. And he was awesome there. And a lot of times you've seen in the past with Ohio State quarterbacks, they don't really translate as well to the NFL. I think with him, this offense, the way it is, having both David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, and then himself posing as that running threat, it's a really good fit for him. And like I said, you give him some real weapons, man, that's going to be dangerous because he can throw it. He's not one of those guys. A lot of these scrambling quarterbacks, they think they're just one-dimensional, coming in the league. That's what a lot of the knock is on these guys. What scouts will say, they'll say, hey, like, this guy's great at running the football. He's a really good athlete, but he can't really make the throws. He can't make the NFL level throws. Justin Fields can, man, and he's really shown it over these last few weeks. So I think he's got a really good future and someone can do what he did last week.
Single-handedly keep a team
right,
in the game,
and he can take it 70 yards himself. Like that is dynamic. I mean, you haven't seen a guy like this. I mean, you talk Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick. He's right up there with those guys. So Josh Allen, same deal. He's a guy that can take a game over himself.
Yeah. So my key matchups are basically the linebackers and containment, like you said, Jake. I mean, looking at the stats here, and again, if I was a defensive coordinator and I'm not anything close, but again, I'm a huge fan and I have opinions, I would throw 7, 8 in the box, and I would go press coverage with Elam, with Tre'Davious White, and I'd have Hamlin also around the line of scrimmage. Of course, Taron Johnson plays fantastic. We've been able to contain the likes of Lamar Jackson the last 2 times we played him. I think Mahomes was able to get away a little bit too much. But to me, Jake, force him to throw. Force him to throw. We saw those numbers. 137 yards
137
average.
Yeah.
So they're running. You know they're going to run. And obviously, I think they're going to do a lot what we saw, which is a little scary. The Green Bay Packer game, there's going to be a lot of screens. They throw a lot of screens. And we've been susceptible to that, right? We've been struggling with that. But if you commit to it, if you scheme for it, I think we can do a nice job. So the key matchup is those linebackers, the scheme that Frazier comes up with more in the box, and shut down that run. And of course, don't give up the long runs. I mean, there's nothing like a backbreaker when you work your way down 15 plays, you score a touchdown, you kick off, and then Fields goes for 60 or 70-yard touchdown. Cannot be doing that. So I don't know. They need a scheme. I'm sure they will. And again, I'm just like, let's put. I mean, you said the receivers that they have without Claypool. How do you feel about a Kaiir Elam matching up in press coverage with these guys, and Trey White and Dane Jackson and Taron Johnson? How do you feel about that, and putting more in the box and just scheme and shut down the run? You're going to have to beat me throwing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, actually, Mike. I kind of like where your head's at there. I think Kaiir needs to play over Dane Jackson. And it's no disrespect to Dane Jackson, but the way Kaiir has been playing, I think he's shown improvement. And, whatever they saw, whatever reason he was a healthy scratch, I think that's in the past now, and they want to get him more involved. Especially as a first-round pick, you hate seeing a guy go out like that. I'm glad they didn't kind of like keep him out, for the last couple games, and he's sort of been worked back into the system, which is good. I do want to bring up something that Brett says here too. We're talking about Nicholas Morrow. He is awesome, man. I really like his story. D2 kid, played with the Raiders, missed all of last year, came out playing pretty damn well with the Bears. I will say he is definitely one of their better players on that defense. They got some good young players there, and I think you look at the stats defensively, they're not great. They're allowing 25, 26 points a game, but I think having Matt Eberflus, first off, as a coach, he's a defensive-minded guy. He's going to find a way to work these guys in. However, the trading away of Roquan Smith still a head-scratcher to me. I mean, that's a really good young linebacker. I don't get that. You got to find a way to make that work.
Yeah, I agree. Big Al's out there. He says, I'm sorry, we're stepping
on.
Sorry,
no, my fault. Yeah, go ahead.
That was right. Big Al says, I hope Milano tackles better. Yeah, last week was a strange one for Milano in my eyes. I mean, it was like, what's going on? What is going on? And
he's banged up.
He didn't seem himself, and I think maybe some banged up a little bit, but he's been next level. So I'll give him a pass one game, and I expect to see him. He's going to have to be huge in this game. He's been that guy making those plays, and again Edmonds as well. They're going to have to be part of this, and that's what I'm saying. Just focus on the run. Last week I felt like we schemed against the pass. Obviously, they ran on us all day, but some of that was scheme, Jake, right? We were like, we're not going to let you beat us throwing the ball.
Right.
And they probably knew that, and they came up with a good scheme early on, and Mostert ran all over us early on. What did he have, over 100 yards in the first quarter?
Yeah, crazy.
But, they didn't stay with it. They weren't patient. They didn't stay with it. Like you said in our postgame, had they stayed with it and stopped throwing on 3rd and 2, 2nd and 3, they were throwing the ball, ran that more. Who knows how that game turns out last week? So for me, again, scheme, stop that run, make them beat you on the pass if that's even possible. With what I've saw, 137 yards average. But you did say Justin Fields can throw the ball, so if he has to, we'll see. But in that weather, with that wind, I like our chances. Jake, I want to see us run the ball. I want to see us run the ball heavily. I want to see, we saw they are almost dead last against the run. I'm not so sure. I know you want to see those wide receivers down the field, and I agree with you. Feed Diggs, and I don't doubt that Josh can throw the ball. Josh can throw the ball in any weather. Like you said, can they catch it? Can they catch it? The ball is moving. Jake, no matter what, Josh can get it to him. He can throw those tight spirals in that type of weather, but that ball moves. I don't care how fast you're throwing. And if he has to put more mustard on it and throw, I always say he throws 110-mile-an-hour fastball. If he has to take it to 150-mile-an-hour fastball
Yeah.
to get it there, I think he moves slightly. It's tough for the receivers to catch
Oh yeah,
it. I did like someone saying get Beasley in there. Beasley has arguably him and Diggs have the best hands on the team.
for sure.
Right, for sure. So I like that idea. Get Beasley out there. It'll be interesting to see how much they can work down the field. Jake, you're feeling pretty good about that?
Yeah, so I don't feel great about like a deep passing game or anything like that unless there's a blown coverage. I like the short game. I like a lot of slant routes. I like a lot of mesh, crossing patterns, stuff like that. I like getting Dawson Knox involved, even in the screen game with him, because he's a guy that's going to run someone over. Like in this weather, this is where he thrives. Like this is feed Dawson Knox, man. Like I love seeing the involvement we've seen over the last few weeks with him. It's been excellent. I think Ken Dorsey's done a really good job with that. So continue to feed him as well. I think he could have a really big day.
Yeah, let's see. Tom says 5% chance to catch a weathered fireball from Josh Allen.
Yeah. Did you see the stat too? Actually, Sean, I think, sent it in our group chat, Mike. It was the most drop passes on like well-targeted receiver or something. It was like I forget the term they used, but basically it was like it was like a Pro Football Focus stat where it was like on target drop passes, and the Bills for Josh Allen, he led the league with like 31 or whatever it was. So, man, tomorrow's weather obviously doesn't really help with that situation, but let's hope that we can figure it out and get it done.
Yeah, I also think we'll go to the short game. Again, some screen passes, something short, 5-6 yards off. With Cook, with Knox, with Diggs, Beasley. Of course, that's where he lives, right? He lives in that 0 to 10 yards down the field. Get him the ball a lot. They're not. I mean, based on the number of sacks they had all year, it's like I know our offense has struggled, but my God, they've only gotten 17 sacks on the year. That shocks me. That shocks me. So Josh should have his have time. He should have his. I think Josh is going to have a lot in the running game as well. But it's going to be interesting. Don't overlook it. So again, my key matchups are stopping that run, force them, say, hey, beat me with the pass. You do that, kudos to you.
I like that.
And then I also say, let's run the ball. I want to ask you this real quick. Prediction for Josh Allen passing yards tomorrow's game. And then let's just slide right over into our predictions and bold predictions. But I want to, before I forget to ask you that,
let's see what the line's set at, actually. I'm curious.
I think it's about 9 points. Last, at least, Tony told me the other day when I saw him.
And then for Josh Allen stats, I got to see the player props, too. I'm curious to see what they have it. It's always interesting to see with the weather. And it's not just the Bears game either. There's going to be a lot of games that are affected by this cold front. So I am really curious to see where the lines are set at across the league. I'm logging into FanDuel right now. I want to see where we have, if we're looking at NFL, and we go to the Bears-Bills game for tomorrow. Let's take a look. So it's, minus 8.5 passing yards.
9.5 is what Brett's saying.
Okay. And Josh Allen's passing yards, 218.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna say he hits the over for that. I think he's gonna go for 230, and he's gonna have 82 yards rushing. So he's gonna have a really good fantasy day. I think he scores once on the ground, throws for 2.
Okay. Now give me your score predictions and some other bold predictions.
Yeah. I think score prediction wise, I'm not going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game. I've been trying all year, Mike, to kind of manifest that. Last week, we finally got a win when scoring 30-plus points. So that was really good, but I don't think we're scoring 30 again tomorrow. I'm going to say the final score is going to be 24-12. It's going to be a really weird scoring game. And actually, the over-under is set at 40.5. I don't often predict hitting the under, but I think I'm going to roll with the under for this game. So I think, 24-12. the Bears are going to have one of those weird games where like they miss an extra point and then they're going to go for 2. They don't get it. But I think we're going to get it going tomorrow. I think our run game is going to be better. I feel good about our offensive line showing up and dominating there in the trenches. Another guy we didn't really talk much about, but a guy that also left the Bears, got traded, and now is a Pro Bowler with the Chargers, Khalil Mack, University of Buffalo guy. I mean, he's really had a nice bounce back year. He was banged up last year, was still having a good year last year, but I think they're really missing him a lot. You saw it, only 17 sacks on the season.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with. I'm sorry. Did you put out some bold predictions?
Oh yeah. So anyways, bold predictions. I think Josh throws for 2, runs for 1, has 82 yards rushing, 230 yards passing. I think another bold prediction, I'm going to say Jordan Poyer comes up with a near pick 6. I'm not going to say he's going to get one, but I think he takes one down and kind of clinches the game that way.
Okay, I love it. I've been calling for a pick 6, so I'm going to put it right out there. I keep saying if I say it long enough, and if they go with the scheme I'm saying, force them to beat you with the passing game. Taron Johnson gets a pick 6. If I say it long enough, he'll get it. I feel it. I put it on my list to Santa this year. I'm struggling with the score prediction. The Bills haven't covered the spread. The last time they did it was against the Patriots. And I feel like with this weather and the way the Bears have been playing at home, it's going to be extremely close. I don't think there's going to be any field goals. So I'm going to say 21-13, and that's only because I'm going to use what you said. They're going to go for 2 for some reason.
Okay.
Because maybe the weather's so bad. I don't know the wind. And I guess if you get, again, I don't know if the wind's going to be at your back. Is it going to be a side wind? It's going to be difficult. So I don't think any field goals. 21-13 Buffalo, which means they would not cover the spread, but they get the win.
Hey, here's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
So we're going to score 3 touchdowns to get to the 24 points. Every time we score, we're going to go for 2. We're going to make all 3 2-point conversions. That's how we're going to get to 24.
All right, I do like that.
How about that?
I love it. Bold predictions. All right, from me, we haven't had a 100-yard rusher all year at all. I'm going to say this is Singletary's game. I looking at their defense. They're almost dead last and giving up yardage against on the run. So I'm going to say bold predictions. Singletary gets has a 100-yard game, extends the lead over James Cook for total yardage, and really solidifies the fact that I'm going to win this bet against you. And be flying to Buffalo sometime next year when it warms up. Of course, I'm going to wait to springtime. You got to be kidding me if you think I'm coming in this cold weather. So I think Singletary has a big day on the receiving side. Because I said there will be no field goals. We do get 21 points, but I think most of that's on the ground. I'm going to say that Dawson Knox is the top receiver once again, like last week, with 5 catches for 80 yards.
Nice.
And 1 touchdown. So
like
5
that.
for 80, 1 touchdown. I think Diggs, we keep saying feed him the ball. Going to be tough in this weather. I think it's coming. It's going to happen soon. I just don't think in this game.
I think Stephon Diggs goes 9 for 91 and a touchdown.
All right. I love that. I would love to see that, honestly. And I don't care whether it's my prediction or yours. I'm loving it. I love what Big L says. Elam, interception. You know what? Let's make that a bold prediction because I think we need to give Elam some love. I was reading some article, and, we have a video on it. What happened? What's happened to Elam? And the article was saying clearly he was benched. And I don't know, man. I don't know what I've been watching. I didn't see anything that told me that this young man should have been benched. Did I miss something? Did you see something, Jake? What? I don't. We don't need to spend a lot of time. We have a video on it, but again, I saw this article maybe yesterday, and they were talking about him getting benched, and I'm like, and he's a very humble guy, by the way. He took it in stride. He said it gave me time to watch from the sideline and learn, but I don't know. It just seems crazy to me to say that he was benched.
Yeah, I do not understand it. And, we've seen what happened in the past with Isaiah McKenzie, where Sean McDermott benched him last year for a couple games and came back with a vengeance and played his best football ever, So now we're starting to see that, I think, with Kyrie Elam. And as a rookie, I think, especially as a corner, which is by far the hardest position to play in the NFL, I think to watch from the sidelines, be able to take the game in stride, take those mental reps, because the game moves fast. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
biggest difference between college and the NFL is just the speed of the game. Anyone will tell you that. So I think for him, I think he's battling through that adversity, and it's good to see him have some humility and kind of just own it and roll with it. So,
Yeah.
I love that prediction. I think he's going to get a pick six tomorrow. I like that.
I love it. I'm going to
Let's do
start,
it.
I've been using TJ a lot. I'm going to put both of them. I'm going to start calling every defensive back gets a pick six.
Someone's got to get one.
Someone's going to get one. We're due. We haven't had a pick six since Milano early in the season.
Right.
Let's go. Something's got to give. I like Big Al. Again, the best hands on the team, arguably right there with Diggs. Mr. Beasley, 2 touchdowns. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and then we got Tom out there with his bold prediction.
I love it, Tom. Let's go.
42-10. Oh my God, that just means Fields is fumbling. The ball's popping out. We're getting a lot of defensive touchdowns here. Right. Absolutely love it. We got Go Bills podcast saying 24-13, right around what I said, 21-13. We shall see. And then Big Al. It wouldn't be Big Al if he didn't say drop 30 on him, man. Big Al with the 34-10. I have to look back. I don't know.
He's had that same score prediction the last 4 games.
He's probably like me with Taron Johnson. If I say it long enough, it's gonna happen. If we look back throughout the year, I don't think Big Al's ever been lower than 34 points for a Bills game ever. I love it. We got the ghost of Judah Traub. What a name.
Bears fan in here. I love it.
Oh, Bears 31. Always calling them the Jills. I kind of wish we had the Jills back, but that's the thing. One day we'll have a conversation about that. Bring them back is what I say. Pretty cold out here. And
I want to say something on that. We were talking earlier. So I'm actually glad the game's in Chicago, because as cold as it is in Chicago right now, current temp right now, 6 degrees, feels like minus 23. So our winds, I think, are at almost 60 miles per hour. It's blizzard-like conditions. So I'll take 32-mile-per-hour winds and 10 degrees, where it probably feels like minus 5 or whatever compared to what we have right now. So it's going to be good. And I'll tell you what, we're not overlooking the Bears. I think you guys are really improving. Justin Fields, man, he's got a lot of potential in this league, and I really like what he's done for you guys. You have some really good weapons in David Montgomery. You got Khalil Herbert coming back. Chase Claypool is probably going to be out tomorrow, but even Byron Pringle, he's showing some spark as well, which is really good. Velus Jones, really good young rookie, and then Cole Kmet. I mean, that's a nice team. You guys are going to have something in the future. And I was talking about the secondary too. I think the most underrated secondary in the league. So it's not going to be easy by any means. I don't think we're overlooking them. I'm really trying my best to not feel like we're going to be the dominant team, just looking at the numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it'll be good, man. So appreciate you chiming in there.
Yeah, for sure. They've been playing, like I said, very tough at home. Gave Philly all they could handle last week, and have had a lot of 1-score losses. I mean, it should be much better than that 3-11 record. So the Ghost of Judah Tribe, come see us on the post-game show. Let's talk. Let's see
Might
how
be
it
eating
goes.
some crow. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I mean, we love all fan bases, so good to see you out there. Thanks for joining.
Don't forget Kari Blossom game too, the fullback, because I love my fullbacks, and it's going to be a great matchup. We got Reggie Gilliam versus Kari Blossom game, going to be incredible. So shout out to both those guys.
He says we have to earn that number 2 seed. He says we're going to beat you this week, and then the Bengals.
The Bengals, they are scary.
The Bengals are scary, and that's going to be a great game as well. Every game is tough in the NFL these days. There is no team you can overlook. There's no team you can take off a week. I mean, seriously. Alan Pollinger, we'll see tomorrow, buddy. Yeah, we'll see you.
So I just want you to know, my dad every week predicts a 34-10 win by the Bills. I always try to predict the Bills win, but I also do factor in the fact that these other teams, the NFL is so close. I think the margin is significantly closer this year than it has been in years past. So anything can happen, especially in a bad weather day. So, yeah, it'll be interesting, man. But, again, may the best man win.
Yeah. Ghost, the one way you can make sure you're there on that post game is drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us and get that
Please do.
notification, and then join us and
Ghost,
let's
I do
talk.
want I do want you to know too. So I love my Bills. I'm all about them, but I do have like about 76 NFL jerseys. Two of my most random jerseys are actually Bears jerseys. I have a Mark Mariani Bears jersey, great returner for you guys back in the day, like I don't know, shoot, 7, 8 years ago now. And then a Chester Taylor jersey as well. Very short-lived careers there with the Bears, but yeah, I got two jerseys of those guys. So,
All
and
right. Well,
Khalil Mack, University of Buffalo guy. So listen, that's
yeah,
a tough
yeah, yeah.
trade for you guys, but yes,
There you go, Ghost. Thank you so much for subscribing. We'll see you on the post game, and we'll see what happens. I want to say, that kind of wraps it up for us. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Again, thank you for all your support. Thank you for everyone joining the channel, and all fan bases are welcome. We love you all. And again, I hope you have the merriest of Christmases. Jake, thank you so much for everything, man. You're fantastic. You have a Merry Christmas.
absolutely,
Give
Mike.
Big Al and Mama Podger a huge hug for me,
I
please.
will. I
They are
will.
fantastic. Some of our biggest supporters, and they always make it more fun to have all the support out in the channel. And any closing thoughts, Jake? And then we'll wrap this up, and we'll see you tomorrow in the post game sometime.
Closing
But
thoughts. I'm just going to
yeah,
read what's on my ugly
yeah.
sweater here. It's kind of hard to see here, but it does say, "Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is a Bills win in the Super Bowl. P.S. I've been very good this year." So listen, it starts tomorrow. Well, it started a long time ago, but tomorrow we got to take care of business, not overlook this team, and try to get that win. So it'll be a good one. I'm excited. Little Christmas Eve football, can't beat it, Mike. So pretty
I
fired up
agree.
for it.
I
And Merry
agree.
Christmas to everyone out there. Cheers to you, sir. Appreciate everything you do for me and for the channel, and you're the best, man. Seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, everyone. See you soon tomorrow sometime. Jake and I will figure out when we're going to do that post game. It's Christmas Eve. Always makes it difficult, but go Bills, and take care, everyone. Stay safe with these weather conditions.
Go Bills.